So to program a Dandelion chip, all you need to do is set your camera, any camera you've got, to manual mode, and then set the exposure so it says 13 inch, so like 13-second exposure. Then put your thing on the camera, and within a second, press the button and let it take. Right now it's taking the 13-second exposure right now. This is to enter program mode for the chip, because you want to program the chip so that it reports the proper focal length for your lens, and also the maximum aperture, and then you could change. You can adjust things like the whether the autofocus switch emulator is set to on or off, so that it'll let you take a picture when it doesn't think you're in focus, which I would recommend. And you can, and a calibration thing. So I'm going to walk through each one. So the first one I'm going to set right now is the focal length. So this is actually a 50 to 300. So, and I probably shoot this one most often at 300. So I'm going to program this to show 300. So you set the thing to aperture AV mode, aperture control. Take a picture at f5.6, and then starting f4 is 0, and then it goes up. So if I want to program 300, I have to go 0 0, because it's got 6 digits. So 5 digits, sorry. So I do 0 0, and then 3. So it's 1 2 3, which is 5.6, and then 0 0 again, 0 0. So now it's programmed to 300. So the chip will report that it's a 300 millimeter focal length lens. Now I want to set aperture. So I'm going to go to manual mode again to enter, and it's still set at 13 seconds. I've got to take the lens off, and then put it on. And again, to enter program mode, I have to take the picture within a second of putting the chip back in contact with the computer. So now we're waiting the 13 seconds for the exposure to be taken. Now to set aperture, you tell it you're setting aperture by taking a picture at f4, and now whatever value I put in will be what it reports. Now this is an f4.5 lens at its maximum aperture, so I will set it at f4.5, and so now the chip is reporting 300 millimeters and f4.5. So now what the next thing I want to do, so I'm going to go back into manual mode to enter program mode again, take a picture within a second. I'm going to tell it to set the autofocus switch emulator from autofocus to manual focus. That way, even if you're in single shot mode, it'll know that your lens is set to manual focus, and it will let you take the picture. Or else, if you don't, it would have to actually have a focus confirmation lock. The camera would have to believe that you're in focus for it to let you take the picture. So I'm gonna set it. It comes default set to autofocus, but we're gonna set it to manual focus, and it's F9. So as soon as you press F9, it toggles between autofocus and manual. So if I went to program mode again, and I took a picture again at F9, then it would switch it back to auto type thing. Now the final thing I'm going to do, and I find that the Dandelion chips are calibrated a little bit off, and I generally like to adjust the calibration, and so I'm going to enter program mode one more time here, and I take a picture at F8, and then I hit 0 and then F8, which F8 I believe represents the number 6, and I think it's a scale of it's been a long time since I remember this, but it's a scale of where I think 8 is the middle, so it's from 1 to 16, or 15 and 8 is the middle, and I like to adjust it down to 6 because I find that focus confirmation is a little bit more accurate. So I'm just going to go back into AV mode, and I'm going to take a picture at F8. I'm going to say now 0 6, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6. And so it's, instead of being set at 8 or 9, it's set at 6 right now, and I find that's more accurate. And that's it. Now your chip is programmed to say 300 millimeter, 4.5, and with autofocus set to off, and calibrated so that it has a better chance of being in focus when you actually have it catch focus. So that's all. That's how you program a Dandelion chip.